Alright, hi guys, welcome back. As we continue with the lesson, we are starting with Unit 10F. Today's topic is science, and we're talking about sound and hearing. Alright, a very interesting topic, I must say, to talk about, because if we look at our daily lives, we use our five senses to communicate and to talk with people around us. We use our eyes, ears, we use our taste buds, we use touch, right? We use these five senses to move around, and if one of them don't work as perfectly fine, and then one of all of the other senses automatically becomes heightened, right? So that's just an interesting fact for you guys to know. Moving on for today's lesson, we'll focus specifically on sound and hearing, focusing on the ear, and I think let's get right into the lesson. Alright, page 109, and after that we can do the workbook. Alright, sound and hearing. I will play an audio clip for you, and then we will number and listen. And as I play the audio clip, you will hear different sounds, right? What you should do is you should identify these sounds and place them in the correct order. So for A, B, C, D, and E, we have numbers 1 to 5 that we will place in the correct box. So let's move on, and let's start with our first audio clip. And we back again. Alright, so you've heard 5 sounds that we played for you guys. First one was in the correct order. So we heard sounds of a car engine, birds were singing, children were laughing, and a piano playing, as well as a faucet running. Now, a faucet being a tap that we drink water out of. So you had to place all of these in the correct order. So I'm just going to open that so that you can see the correct order. First we heard the sound of a piano that was playing in the background in the audio clip. Then we heard a faucet that was running. Children were laughing, birds were singing after that, and a car engine. So these were the order of what you just heard on the audio clip. Interesting to know that you have the ability to hear and listen to all of these sounds. Right, and we can move on to the next page. Right, now look and match these items in the pictures 1 to 5 to the verbs A to E. Right, now the first one is given to us already. Okay, now these are our 5 verbs, which means these are our 5 actions. So number 1, we have a bell, and a bell rings. So this is the verb, right? A bell rings. Right, we have clap, we have bang, we have blow, and shake. Now all of these instruments, they make the different sounds. So what we need to do is we need to place them in the correct order. So number 1, we have a bell. Number 2, these are known as maracas. So they look like lollipops, but what they actually, the purpose of them is to make a specific sound. So what happens is you have sand inside of them, Alright, so you have sand in one of these wooden, looks like lollipops. So when you shake them like that, they make a specific sound. It sounds similar to okay, that's the sound that it actually gives off. Here we have hands on the next one, and this is the sound of clapping. Alright, so I've just given you the answer for one of these, and then we have a horn, and then what sound does the horn make? Alright, and then we have a drum. Now, all of you I think are familiar with the drum and the sound of a drum. Alright, so we have a bell, maracas, hands, a horn, and a drum. And all of these make different sounds. So what sound can we associate clapping with? Okay, clapping we can associate with hands. And this is already given to us. And here's a fun fact. Okay, you can clap your hands. Alright, and these are all verbs and actions that we can use. See, we have bang. So which of these instruments or rather objects makes a banging noise? Right, number 5, which is a drum. Obviously when you bang a drum, it makes a very nice sound, given the fact that you know how to play a drum. Okay, we have blow. What do we blow? Can we blow the maracas? No, we cannot, and we cannot blow a drum. We cannot ever blow a horn. Right, so the correct answer for this one is number 4. And then the last one, we're looking at a shake. Alright, so what do we shake? If you guys notice what I've said earlier on, with the sand inside of these wooden little lollipops. Alright, we shake these and then you can hear the maracas. Beautiful sound that it gives off, by the way, as well as clapping. Most of the cultures, when they sing and when they have the traditional dances, they inform some sort of bell, or they include the maracas or the hands or drums, different instruments to make different sounds, and it sounds beautiful, especially when you hear the different cultures dance and play with these musical instruments as well. Okay, moving on to the next one. Listen to the sounds, identify each one as you hear it. So same activity that we did before this, we will play it again. So I want you to listen and I want you to fill in as we go along. Alright, same activity as what we've done before, so we can just fill in the answers. We've listened to the sound, so identify each one as you heard it. Right, so what did you hear first? You heard the sound of a drum. Afterwards, you heard the blowing of a horn, clapping of hands, the shaking of the maracas, and the ringing of a bell. So if we had to put this in the correct order, this is what you heard first. And then the blowing of a horn, clapping of a hand, of the hands, shaking of the maracas, and ringing of the bell. And if you noticed very well, we went from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And these were the sounds that you heard. Okay, moving on. Right, now listen again, covering both ears and cover one ear. Then you tell me what's the difference. Now this is an activity that you will have to do on your end, and then you can just discuss with your friends and tell us what's the difference as you hear some of these. Okay, now I'll play the audio for you again So what you do is you cover your ears, okay, then open with the one ear, close both ears again, and then listen with both ears, okay? I'll play the audio again for you, and then we can do this little activity. Alright, and that's the end of the audio. Now, you alone can tell me the difference, and you can practice it with your friends. So, what did you hear and what was the difference? Some of the people would say that they didn't hear very well, because it's clear and evident that when you cover both of your ears, you won't be able to hear very well. Okay, and if you cover one ear, right, you may not have heard the stereo. Okay, you may not have heard the sound that it eliminated from the audio as well. So when you close one of the ears, you may not have heard the audio that perfect. Alright, so how do we hear? Now we get on to the actual lesson. So how does our ear work? What we can see is the outer ear. Alright, so sound, this is the sound traveling and going inside the eardrums. Okay, this is the canal. Alright, or the tunnel as I call it. So sound goes in, here we have the eardrum. Alright, and here we have a very small bone and tiny hairs. So how does all of this work? We have the outer ear, we have the middle ear, and we have the inner ear. Now this part up until here we can see, but going in a little bit further we do not have the knowledge of how it works and how it goes. But here we have an explanation in the passage of how our ears actually work. I'll play the audio for us and then we can go through it together.
How our ears work. Sounds are everywhere, and your ears are there to pick them up. But do you really know how you hear? Your ear has three parts to it: the outer ear, the middle ear, and the inner ear. The outer ear is the part you can see. It collects all the sounds and sends them to the middle ear through the ear canal. The middle ear is where the eardrum is. When the sound reaches the eardrum, it causes vibrations. These vibrations make some very small bones in your middle ear move and help the sound continue its journey to the inner ear. The inner ear has tiny hairs. When the vibrations reach the inner ear, these hairs move around like waves and send signals to your brain so you can hear everything around you.
Alright, and that's the end of the audio clip. So what this whole passage is talking about is the inner workings of the ear. I want to draw your attention to this little part here. So when sound enters our ears, it enters in as vibrations, right? So when it vibrates, you do not physically feel the vibration in your ear, but what it does is the very small bones in the middle ear move. Alright, so as the sound journeys through, those are little small vibrations. So we have tiny hairs in the inside of our ears. So these tiny hairs pick up these vibrations, and these vibrations reach the inner ear. So the hair moves around like waves and sends signals. Now these signals are also known as messages. Alright, if I can give you a perfect example, when you play the piano and when you press one key. So what happens is you press a key and then sound comes out. So that's the same principle as when sound enters in your ear. Alright, so the waves, and when you press it, it makes a certain sound. So when you hear something, that is actually vibrations that is interpreted as sounds, and those are like waves and signals. So inside the ear we have tiny hairs. So what it does is these waves and signals move over these tiny hairs so you can hear everything around you. Alright, let's move on. Okay, read the text again and answer the questions. Now we have some questions on the text at hand. So how many parts do our ears have? I'll give you a time to listen to it first. Right, 3 parts. We have the outer ear, the middle ear, and we have the inner ear as well. 3 parts. So which part of the ear can you see? You can only see the outer ear. You cannot see the inner ear unless you have some sort of a machine and go to an ear doctor that can allow you to see how the ear actually works. But physically you cannot see the inner ear. Right, where's the eardrum? Located right in the middle, and this is the part that you cannot see at all. Right, so what happens to sound when it hits the eardrum? And when we talk about hits, we're not talking about physically hit. So what happens to sound when it enters the eardrum? Okay, so it causes vibrations which makes small bones in the middle ear move and help to take the sound onto the inner ear. Right, so what do the tiny hairs do? Right, the tiny hairs, when the vibrations hit them or reach them, they move like waves. Alright, and they give off signals to the brain so that we can hear them. Right, so they move around like waves and give signals to the brain that we can actually hear. Right, just a short video clip that we will play, and then we can go on to our workbook.
How our ears work. Do you like music? Have you ever wondered how your ears work? Sounds are everywhere, and our ears pick them up. Your ear has got 3 parts to it: the outer ear, the middle ear, and the inner ear. The outer ear is the part you can see. It collects all the sounds and sends them to the middle ear through the ear canal. The middle ear is where the eardrum is. When the sound reaches the eardrum, it causes vibrations. These vibrations make some very small bones in your middle ear move and help the sound continue its journey to the inner ear. The inner ear has got tiny hairs. When sound hits them, they move around like waves. These hairs give the signal to your brain so you can hear everything around you. So now you know how your ear works.
Alright, so now we actually know the workings of the inner ear. Just some of the questions that we have. How do our ears work? Put the following sentences in the correct order. Now we have 6 different sentences that we need to use to put them in the correct order. So what I'm going to do is, alright, this is the correct order of how it is supposed to look. The outer ear collects sound, so it enters through the outer ear right into, and sound travels to the middle ear through the ear canal. Alright, sound reaches the eardrums and vibrations are created. And then sound travels to the inner ear through the movement of small bones. These tiny hairs in the inner ear move around and the brain picks up the signals. Alright, in a nutshell, that's what happens when sound enters our ears. Alright, let's move on to our workbook and then we can conclude the end of 10F. Alright, and we are back again. Unit 10F, open up your books and then we can go through it together. Now, vocabulary, we are supposed to match to form sentences. Sentences that we are going to make with the following vocabulary words. So you can clap what? Okay, we can clap And as an example, if we are going to use number 1, you can clap your hands. Alright, so you can clap your hands. Sentence number 1. So that is what we are supposed to do. So what I want you to do is I want you to do the exercise first, and then we can do it together when you are done. But I will go through the exercise and I want you to pause it and then we can go through it. Alright, number 2. Okay, you can ring. What can you ring? You can ring a bell. You can bang the drums. You can play the piano. You can blow a horn, and you can shake the maracas. Alright, so these are the order of what you can do with all of these instruments and the verbs that goes along with them. Right, so number 2, match the words to form phrases. Okay, so in the text that we've just covered, we are going to match the phrases. So number 1, for example, we have small. So small, what do we have? Okay, we have canal, bones, hairs, and ear. In the text we have read about small bones, so that will be 1B. Right, so 2, match the words to form phrases. 2, we have ear, canal. Alright, so 2 will be A. Number 3, we have inner. Inner will be aligned with ear. Alright, number 4, we have tiny, and tiny goes along with hairs. So we have 4C. Right, use the phrases in example 2A to complete the sentences. Alright, so the exact same phrases that we have just covered, we will use them now to perform sentences. Now, what did we say? How does sound travel? So sound travels through where? Okay, so when sound enters and moves in, it enters into our ear canal to the middle ear. Right, and then the inner ear is the part of the ear from which signals are sent to the brain. Okay, so we have 3 parts. We have the outer, middle, and inner ear. But for number 2, the inner ear is the part of the ear from which signals are sent to the brain. Number 3, we have in this middle ear move to help the sound continue its journey. So what can we use here? Which word can we use to form our sentence? So we have small bones in the middle ear. Remember, in the middle ear you have 2 small bones and help to the sound to continue its journey. Right, your brain receives signals from the what? Right, from the tiny hairs in your inner ears. Remember, I talked about the wave and how we hear. Right, so your brain receives signals from the tiny hairs in your inner ear. Alright, use the verbs in the correct form to complete the sentences. Alright, so for example number 1, the 3 parts of the ear work together so you can everything around you. Alright, so what is the correct verb that we will use? Here we have reach, pick up, collect, send, continue, cause, and hear. And the correct one that we can use here is hear. The 3 parts of the ear work together so you can hear everything around you. Alright, when a sound reaches your inner ear, it's turned into a signal. So the correct verb to use is reaches. Moving on to the outer ear, we can say that the outer ear collects sounds and sends them to the middle ear through the ear canal. So it collects and gathers all of the sound that we hear around us. And then the inner ear, for number 4, sends the signals to the brain. So while the outer ear collects, we have the inner ear to send out the signal as well. Alright, moving on to number 5. Your ear's job is to do what? Okay, so the main purpose of your ear is to pick up sounds around you and send signals to the brain. So your ear's job is to pick up the sounds around you and send it right off to the brain. So for number 6, sounds leave the middle ear, and then what do? So when they go from the middle ear, they just continue their journey to the inner ear. And then when sound reaches the eardrum for number 7, it causes vibration. So there's a reaction that takes place. Sound comes in the outer ear, goes and flows, and it makes vibrations that make the small bones in the ear actually move. Alright, moving to our collocations. Complete the phrases in the verbs in the list below. Right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 phrases, alright, with phrases with these 5 verbs that we can use. An example is given for number 1. Okay, so our example for number 1, cause a vibration, an accident, and a problem. Alright. Alright, going on to number 2, we have a signal, an invitation, a message. So what can we put for number 2? We a signal. Can we play a signal, cause a signal, join, send, or feel? And the correct answer is send a signal, an invitation, and a message. Right, moving on to number 3. Free, alive, sorry, bad, or good. Alright, so what can we put? We feel free, feel alive, feel sorry, or feel bad or good. Right, moving on to our next one. Okay, what can we do with tennis, or a joke, or a game, or the piano? Can we cause it? Can we join it? Can we play it? Well, I know from experience, alright, that we play tennis and we play a joke on someone. Alright, so the correct answer is play. And for number 5, we use forces, the party, the club, and hands. The correct verb to use in this case is join. Right? We join forces, we collaborate when 2 or 3 teams join together to make a stronger team. Alright, we call it join forces. Alright, now use these phrases from example 4a, which is these over here, in the correct form to complete sentences 1 to 5. Now here's sentences 1 to 5. Alright, it to pass an exam. So what can we use when we say it to pass an exam? We can say it feels good, alright, to pass an exam. Okay, number 2, I'll what you a what as soon as I know something. I'll send you a message as soon as I know something. Number 3, he drives too fast and causes, right, an accident. Remember, we are going to complete all of these phrases by ourselves. Number 4, the 2 enemies to save the girl. Alright, what did I say about the 2 teams? What did they do? We can use join forces to save the girl. Alright, 2 are better than 1 and they are stronger. And lastly, I am going to of tennis this afternoon, and the correct word that we can use here is I'm going to play a game of tennis. We cannot use the word play as is. We need to use it grammatically and form grammatically correct sentences. So I say I'm going to play a game of tennis this afternoon. Alright, and moving on to our last part, which is the dictation, which I will play for you, and then I want you to jot down and write the dictation, and then we will reveal the answers at the end. Alright, and I'll play the dictation and then we can go through it together.
Unit 10F. Exercise 5, page 68. Dictation.
I'm doing a lot of fun things with my friends this weekend. On Friday, we're going to rent a DVD, Pirates of the Caribbean, at World's End. The first 2 movies included a lot of adventure, so I think this one will be great too. On Saturday night, we're all eating out at my favorite Italian restaurant. I'll probably have chicken and pasta. Then on Sunday, I'm meeting my friends again. I think we'll play some music with our band. I play the drums. I can't wait until the weekend. It's going to be great.
Listen and write.
I'm doing a lot of fun things with my friends this weekend. On Friday, we're going to rent a DVD Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. The first two movies included a lot of adventure. So I think this one will be great too. On Saturday night, we're all eating out at my favorite Italian restaurant. I'll probably have chicken and pasta. Then on Sunday, I'm meeting my friends again. I think we'll play some music with our band. I play the drums. I can't wait until the weekend. It's going to be great.
Listen and check.
I'm doing a lot of fun things with my friends this weekend. On Friday, we're going to rent the DVD, Pirates of the Caribbean, at World's End. The first two movies included a lot of adventure, so I think this one will be great too. On Saturday night, we're all eating out at my favorite Italian restaurant. I'll probably have chicken and pasta. Then on Sunday, I'm meeting my friends again. I think we'll play some music with our band. I play the drums. I can't wait until the weekend. It's going to be great.
Alright, and that's all for the dictation. It was quite a long dictation of 5 minutes, and I will show you the answers, and then you can just check your work to see if it is the same and make the necessary corrections. Alright, and this is the dictation. And that's all from me. Thank you guys for the time, and see you again next time, and stay safe. Goodbye.